Welcome again to another Curator's Chat. I'm Jason French, Curator of Collections at the Behringer-Crawford Museum. Today we wanted to practice some good social distancing, and since the museum's closed, we would just do a Curator's Chat out here in the park. And I wanted to share with you Prisoner's Lake. Now, Prisoner's Lake has been a part of the park now for about 100 years, and it's got all kinds of stories, and there's all kinds of things that it means so much to our community. But maybe not everybody knows that Prisoner's Lake, it was the City Commission of Covington in 1916 that decided that with the new park, they could actually have a rock quarry and get rock and gravel to use on streets in Covington. So doing that, of course, they used city prisoners to dig out the rock quarry. And they did that for about 4 years. And it was around 1920 that the decision was made to go ahead and make the quarry into a lake. And thus, Prisoner's Lake, kind of named by the community, really, never necessarily officially, was formed. And it's been part of the lives of the communities around Devou Park now for about 100 years. It is beautiful, and it is full of stories. There's all kinds of, almost everybody that grew up in the area around here is going to have some story about Prisoner's Lake. Whether, it's a story of them and their sweetheart coming here in the evenings and sitting on the hillside and maybe necking a little and just enjoying each other's company, and then eventually being ran off by the police, or maybe it's that they know of when the mob was maybe having to hide some slot machines because the cops had raided their joint. They would come and dump them here in the lake. There's all kinds of these stories. Some of them are stories, some of them are likely true, and this lake, this body of water has just got so much memory and so many stories to it. And I love hearing those stories. And even Behringer-Crawford Museum itself has stories that tie to this lake. And, the museum is just up the hill right up there. Well, back in the 50s, or maybe the very early 60s, but I think it was in the 50s, Ellis Crawford had been given living alligators. 2 small alligators that had been brought up from Florida, and he built a small pond up near the museum, and he had these alligators living in it, but they wouldn't stay. So what they did is they would get out of the pond and they came down here to this lake and they started living in the lake. And there's a number of people that I've talked to that were very, they were young boys or they were teenagers at the time, and now they're in their 70s, their 80s probably, and maybe even their 90s, that helped Ellis catch those alligators that had gotten loose. They would get around here in a rowboat and troll a hook with a chicken on it or something to try to catch these alligators. They didn't stay up at the museum very long, but they were a significant part of people's memories, whether it's the museum memory or people's community memories of this lake. Whether it's alligators or courting, whether it's, dumping slot machines, maybe even cars. We just don't know. I mean, people may have thrown trash in here. We don't know. And there's so many stories that have to do with this beautiful lake, this kind of mirrored pool of memory in our community. And I wanted to share that with you, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about its history, what we know. That we know that it was built as a rock quarry. And I love to hear the stories. So I wanted to share a couple of stories with you about Prisoner's Lake that I know. And I would love to hear you tell stories about Prisoner's Lake to us. Feel free to do that. And also feel free to like and subscribe. We love seeing when we get new subscriptions. It makes us feel like what we're doing is good. And it's important to us, and it's important to the museum. And we want you to get the information. Get it first, hit that bell and and do all the things you want to, because we at Behringer-Crawford Museum, we love telling stories, we love our history, we love the community, and we want to be a part of it and engage in those conversations and talk to you. I hope you have a good day, and we look forward to talking to you again. Thank you. Bye.